Hello and Merry Christmas. And it's really lovely to be with you here on Boxing Day, the feast of St. Stephen. My name's Richard, Richard Newton, and I am a parishioner here at Minehead. And I've been asked to do an 8-minute talk. And when I was first asked, I was really quite keen. And then all of a sudden I got a bit nervous about it. But with the help of my wife Diane, and actually with the help of my mum, who, as many of you know, sadly passed away a little while ago. But both of those very influential ladies in my life have given me some inspiration in relation to the talk I'm going to do today. And it's really centered on things that are really important to me, and that is the love of family and friends, and just how important those bonds of friendship and kinship are, especially in the days that we've been enduring over the last months. And when I had a look at what I was going to do and try and think about passages from the Bible, Diane helped me by giving me a Bible to look at that was gifted to her by my mum, and before that had been given to my father by my mother. And inside the cover is several inscriptions, and one of them is a passage from Ecclesiastes. And that reminded me, because it's one of my most favourite things, and that reminded me of 4 pieces of writing, if you like, that kind of got me through my teenage. That was a little while ago, and but they have been actually mainstays to me as a person, and it's been really quite interesting looking back at these these 4 bits of writing, and how they've been important to me and continue to be important to me, and I wanted to share them with you today. So the first one I'm going to share is one that you'll be all very familiar with, and it's from Paul's first letter to the Church of Corinth. So this is what Paul had to say about love. This is from chapter 13 of Paul's first letter to the Church of Corinth, and I'm going to read verses 4 to 8 and then verses 12 and 13. Love is kind, and love is patient, never jealous or boastful, proud or rude. Love isn't selfish. It's not quick-tempered and does not keep a record of wrongs that others do. Love rejoices in the truth, but not in evil. Love is always supportive, loyal, hopeful, and trusting. Love never fails. Paul goes on to say, now all we can see of God is like a cloudy picture in a mirror. Later we will see him face to face. We don't know everything, but then we will, just as God completely understands us. For now there are faith, hope, and love. But of these 3, the greatest is love. I think love is really special when we talk about the way that we might love our partners, or love our friends and love our family. And some very wise person, and you know who you are, once told me, when I was perhaps struggling a little bit with my faith, and he said, remember, Richard, we don't have to like everybody, but as Christians we love everybody. And I thought that was a really interesting thing. I'll let you just kind of ponder on that one. The next piece of writing I'd like to share with you is something called Footprints. And it's not a verse from the Bible. Of the four things that I wanted to share with you today, two are verses from the Bible and two are not. They're kind of poems. But again, some of you will be familiar with this poem. Footprints. One night I dreamed a dream. As I walked along the beach with my Lord, across the dark sky flashed scenes of my life. For each scene I noticed two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to me and one belonging to my Lord. After the last scene of my life flashed before me, I looked back at the footprints in the sand. I noticed that many times along the path of my life, especially at the very lowest and saddest times, there was only one set of footprints. This really troubled me, so I asked the Lord about it. Lord, you said once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I noticed that during the saddest and most troublesome time of my life, there was only one set of footprints. I don't understand why. When I needed you the most, why would you leave me? He whispered, My precious child, I love you and will never leave you. Never during the trials and testings of your life. When you saw only one set of footprints, that was when I carried you. So you can probably tell how that makes me feel. And I think it kind of speaks for itself. But I think that's so true of perhaps our relationship with the Lord and also our relationship perhaps with our friends and our family. And hopefully strangers you meet along the way. Because for me, being a Christian person, it's all about the love and caring that we give and how we carry those who are close to us and those who we don't know that well through troublesome times of their life. And I suppose that was one of the things that brought me to do the job that I did for 30 years as a police officer, was to think about how I could help others in their time of trial. The next passage I would like to share with you is a passage from the Bible, and this is from Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verses 1 to 8. And it's very familiar to me, and actually there's a really lovely version of this that you will probably be aware of, a song called Turn, Turn, Turn by the Byrds. And if you haven't ever heard that, I would go onto YouTube or however you can access the song and listen to it. And this was of great comfort to me as I was growing up, and is just as comforting now, and was the inspiration really for this talk once Diane had shared this Bible with me that she got from my mum. So Ecclesiastes chapter 3, 1 to 8. To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under the sun, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which was planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to lose and a time to seek, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. I think that really made or helped me understand as a young person how there was a bit of a roller coaster ahead of me in relation to my life and my feelings, and kind of made it okay to deal with some of those emotions that we feel going through life. And my goodness, has the last year really tested our emotions and our ability to not to have to deal with not being able to embrace. I'm just thinking how I am looking forward so much to giving my children and my family and friends a good hug. Lastly, I would like to share with you a poem that actually is really special to me, and it was written in 1927 by someone called Max Ehrmann, and I was first introduced to this actually on a Christian retreat as a teenager called Sunrise in the grounds of Wells Cathedral. And it was written in 1927, but if you listen to the words and listen to the message that it gives, I think you'll find it, although the language is perhaps quite apparently nearly 100 years old, the sentiments are as true today as they were when they were written. So, Desiderata by Max Ehrmann. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all people. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. Even to the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for there will always be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let not this blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for higher ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labours and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful and strive to be happy. Thank you, and let's all hope for a better 2021 than 2020 was for us. And I wish you all the best and a very Merry Christmas.